In today's Elementor WordPress tutorial, you'll learn how to quickly build a website using Elementor hosting and AI. In fact, the text and images that you see right here are AI generated. I'll also show you how to use some of Elementor's more advanced features like pop-up windows like you see here. And also I will be testing Elementor's new mega menu here where we can add submenus under our main menu there. So if all this sounds interesting, then keep watching. For those of you new to WordPress and Elementor, we choose WordPress because it's the most popular content management system on the web today. And unlike many of its competitors, WordPress is completely free and open source. And when we combine Elementor with WordPress, it makes WordPress much easier to use. We get a really nice upgraded user interface where even new users can create beautiful, well-designed pages without even using any code. Now, any website that we design will need a place on the internet where it is stored. So this is where we need website hosting. So for our WordPress website hosting, we have a product called Elementor Hosting. This is an all-in-one solution that gives us our WordPress content management system, our Elementor design tool, and high-performance web hosting all in one price. So overall, if you're looking to make any kind of website like a blog, a portfolio, an e-commerce website, a photography website, a travel blog, pretty much anything you can think of, this is going to be a nice all-in-one solution. Now, we do have a lot of content to cover in this video, so I have broken it into chapters in the timeline if you'd like to skip to a specific section, but we are going to start with setting up our Elementor hosting account. So I do have a link in the description. If you want to follow that, we can go through this step by step and build this thing. All right, the link in the description will bring you here where we can choose our plan. I just need to use one website for this demonstration, so that's what I'm going to go with here. So I'm going to select this one. And now it's just a case of creating an account. You can use Google, Facebook, or an email. I'm going to use my Google for this one. So I'll select that one here. It's just a case of now filling out the checkout details, your name, address, etc., and going through that checkout flow. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and meet you at the next step. And now you'll get the option to add Elementor AI. I'm going to show you this in more detail later. You don't have to select it now if you don't want to, because you do get some free trial credit to try it out first. So just be aware of that. But it is only $2.99. But anyway, let's start creating our website. And we give it a name. You can easily change this later. I'm going to go with IdeaSpot for now and pop that in here. And let's head over to Next. And now we can choose a site kit. Now there is 34 options here on this page. I really like to start from scratch because I think having a blank website up front is easier to roll back from a backup if I want to just decide if I want to go with a different site kit, for example. Now let's start editing our page. This is not going to be too exciting because it's just a blank Elementor page. So let's head up to the top left corner and we can find the management for our website here, manage this website, and let's go. This will bring us through to our dashboard overview. From here, we can manage our site in a lot of different ways. We can add custom domains, we can add email accounts, we can do backups, and you'll notice that site lock is on here. So this will mean that we can edit the site in the background, but the public will actually see a temporary page while the page is under construction. I've covered all of these in some detail in a previous tutorial on the channel, so I'll link to that in the description. What I want to do here is head to our WordPress dashboard where we can create and edit our content. So let's head to this one here. This brings us to our WordPress dashboard where we can manage our site content. So from here, I'd like to start with a template. So let's head to templates and let's add an Elementor kit from the kit library here. From here, we can browse all of Elementor's site kits from their kit library. These are really easy to customize to suit your own project. I'd like to use a simple website for this demonstration, and the one I quite like is called Digital Marketing Agency. So I'm going to click on that one. That'll give you the ability to view the site. So you can scroll through, have a look, and if you're happy with it, you can apply it. If not, head back to the library. Let's apply this one here. And I'm going to click Apply All here. And we want to enable the unfiltered uploads. And now it's setting up our kit. After a minute or two, it'll say your kit is now live on the site. We can close out here. This brings us back to our dashboard. Now we can start editing the content. So let's start with our pages here. So we can see we have 6 pages here plus a sample page. Now let's start with editing the home page. So we can go over to here, edit with Elementor, and this should load up our Elementor page builder on our home page. Here we are in Elementor. This is where we can edit our content. All of our colors, fonts, our menu, our logo, text, and images can be done from Elementor. The thing I'm probably most excited to show you is using AI to edit the content. So let's get started with that. So here we've got a slogan, a title, and a short paragraph. So let's start with the slogan here. Click the edit pencil there. We can edit with AI here. So currently it says go beyond your wildest dreams. We can make a new prompt here, and I want to make a slogan for a web design agency less than 8 words. So let's generate this, and this should give us something good that we can use in place. So designing digital experiences that captivate. If we want to try it again, see what else we get. And now it says designing your digital success. I quite like this one, so let's just use that one there. So there we go. Your digital presence is about to take off. Let's try this one as well. Edit with AI. Here it says your digital presence is about to take off. We're going to make a new prompt here so we can start something here. If you are learning how to make prompts, Elementor has a good guide on promptselementor.com. So we're making a text prompt here, and I'm going to scroll down because there's a good one here. Generate a title based on the description. They have lots of helpful prompt examples here. We're going to do a title one here. We can copy that prompt, head back to here, paste that in, and put your description here. We want a title based on a web design agency. So let's generate the text here. So it says crafting digital solutions is the expertise of a web design agency. Let's try something else. Let's try IdeaSpot design agency. That might be better. Oh, this is way cooler. Get inspired with IdeaSpot, a creative design agency for your next big idea. So that is good. If you put your brand in the prompt, you get a really nice title in that situation there. So I'm going to use that one. Next up, we've got a short description paragraph. This is just filler text at the moment. We can change that to suit our IdeaSpot design agency here. Let's make a new prompt here. I just want to promote IdeaSpot web design agency in less than 25 words, and hit generate there. And what it's come up with here is not bad. Professional, effective, and creative web design services for your business. IdeaSpot, your perfect online partner. Not bad. Let's see the second try, see if it improves. And here it's given us stunning web designs that bring your ideas to life. Let IdeaSpot create your dream website today. I think that is a little bit nicer, so I might use that one here. So you get the idea. We've got customized text for IdeaSpot's web design agency, just using AI. So that is good for doing titles, slogans, and short paragraphs. Let's do a longer paragraph. So looking down, maybe this section about our clients, they believe in us. This one could be suitable for a longer paragraph. So let's edit this one with AI, and let's make a new prompt here. So here I'm going to say, explain why our clients love IdeaSpot Web Design Agency in one paragraph. Use 80 to 100 words, and let's generate. And this is pretty good. Our clients love IdeaSpot Web Design Agency because of our attention to detail and dedication to quality. I think it's pretty good. It's a little bit dry, the language. I think we can change the tone here. We can actually choose different tones. If we wanted to make it, say, more inspirational, it might add a few more interesting adjectives to make it sound a little bit more interesting to read. Our clients have fallen in love with IdeaSpot Web Design Agency, not only because of the focus we place on every detail, but because of our unwavering commitment to quality. See what I mean? It makes it a little bit more engaging. I think that's a little bit over the top, but let's try something like motivational. This is a little bit more like what I had in mind. So play around with the prompt and play around with that tone feature here, and you'll get a paragraph that you can really use for your purpose. So let's pop that in there, and that looks pretty good. In fact, looking at it, it might actually be a little bit too long. So that's another good feature we can have here, where we can actually just make it shorter by clicking it there, and it'll turn it into a shorter paragraph as well. So that looks better. We can use that. And yeah, and that's a little bit less bloated than the previous one looked. So I'm happy with that. So we can go ahead now. Even just reading this out, it actually is pretty impressive. The quality of the language here at IdeaSpot, we're passionate about exceeding client expectations by creating high-quality, user-friendly websites. Our expert team works closely with clients to ensure we understand their needs and create websites that meet their goals. We pride ourselves on effective communication and collaboration throughout the development process, resulting in satisfied clients and successful businesses. Let's transform your website and help your business thrive. That's as good as any advertising copy in this sort of niche, I think. So I'm pretty happy with how this works. Now, we're not just limited to using AI for text. I might show you how this works with images. For example, this image here at the top hero section here, we can actually click the AI button on there as well. So there are several tools here we can use. Expand the image to make it larger. We can resize it. We can remove and replace backgrounds. This is good for profile pictures and product shots where you just want a clean background. Generative fill, that's good for where you've got a photograph and you just want to remove something. For example, you might have a piece of garbage on a lawn. You just delete that piece of garbage and fill with lawn. That's a good way of doing that. Variations is probably the most interesting one. I might show you that for this example. So here I'm going to say 2 men with laptops watching a whiteboard presentation in an office. Make the office tidier and more professional. Let's generate this. So based on that, the changes are very subtle. It's only really changed the appearance of the subjects in the photograph. So that could be useful if you want to anonymize the people in the photograph. But this gets really interesting when we change this slider here. So over here, it's closer to the original image, and over here, it's closer to the prompt. It gets more creative as we move the slider over here. So let's try moving it back to say 20 and generate this again. So here you can see things get interesting. I quite like this cell shading effect that we get here on the bottom right one. I might be tempted to use that one. Let's try moving it even a little bit further, 10% reference and 90% prompt. So let's go here and see what we get. So here we go. I think this one is actually pretty cool. I might use this one, but yeah, play around with that slider and the prompt, and you can get some really nice results with this Elementor AI image tool here. So I really like this. Is probably a big upgrade from what we had previously on our hero section. And the other thing worth trying out is Elementor's own example prompts. So under their prompts library, under images, let's try doing something like this, a marketing strategy illustration vector style. So let's copy that one here and let's head back here. Let's go down and let's change this one. So let's just delete this one altogether and let's make an AI image for that. And let's put in our prompt. I just want to tweak this a little bit. So rather than being a marketing agency company, let's be a web design company. And that looks all good. Let's generate that one. And here we go. I actually quite like this one here. And you can also tune the image types and styles as well. So if you're dealing with a photograph, you can change the lens effects. You can make like a macro, portrait, long exposure, landscape style photo, or you can actually change the image style altogether, like make it digital art style, handmade style, 3D style. So really cool options that you can play around with. I'm just going to use this one for now, but definitely have a play around with this and see what you can do with these AI generated images. So that covers how we can quickly generate a website using AI to fill in the content, images, and text. Next thing I'd like to do is show you how to customize the fonts and colors across the site here. So let's head back to our site settings here on the top menu. And the two most important tools are right up the top here, global colors and global fonts. And this is where we control the colors right across the site. So this is a nice way of being able to change your branding in just a few clicks. So for example, if our primary brand color was different from this bluish purple, we could just tweak it here. So let's say we had a nice bluey green as our brand color. We could do that here, save the changes, and that will be reflected right across the site. If I just close out of that here, we can show you the result. As we can see now, we've got the primary color change right across the whole site to that bluey green effect. So a really nice way of adapting your branding in just a few clicks. Let's do the same thing with fonts. Let's head to global fonts here. And here we have our customizations for our fonts. So probably the most important ones are here, primary, secondary, text, and accent. You can go into more detail here as well. But let's go ahead and change the primary font. For example, here it's Viral Around. Let's go ahead and change it to Lato, for example, here. And we want it to be a little bit heavier. Let's go medium. There we go. Save that in. And let's see what effect that has on our page. Let's close out of this. We can see our headings are Lato font now right across our whole website. So there we go. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So very quick way of rebranding fonts and colors through those global settings. Next thing we can work on is our logo and our header with our menu here. Let's go ahead and click on the header tab there. And we can get to our logo through the pencil icon there. That's our logo that we need to change. Let's go ahead and change it. Our logo is this one here. So let's go ahead. We can upload one from our drive that I prepared earlier. There we go. There's that one. And I'll also upload an icon as well for our favicon while I'm here. So let's do that too. It's worth doing all these things while we're in our settings. Let's go ahead and I want the logo to be that one there. And the favicon is the little icon that goes in the top where the tab is there. So I've designed one like that, and that can go in our tab. And the description, we might as well change the description here. I might just copy that little blurb that we made up earlier as a description. And that looks pretty good. Save that in. It will say changes will be reflected only after saving and reloading the preview. So we can actually reload the whole preview here, and that should reflect our changes. So we can see our new logo here. If you're curious, I did the logo in Canva. That makes it easy to do that particular size dimension setup. Canva.com, that's free. And Favicon.io is where I generated the favicon for the tab. So pretty easy way of creating those couple of things. If you wanted to tweak the actual logo dimensions, I'll close out of the settings there and head back to our header. And we can actually do that as well. And we just click that pencil icon again there and go to style. You'll find your logo height is the one you want to change there. And you can get that a bit bigger to your taste. Once you're happy with that, we click publish. Next thing we can look at is our menu here and our phone number thing. Let's start with that because that's really easy to change. We can see that it's using an icon list to do that effect. If we click on the phone number, we can customize the phone number to be whatever we like there. And we could actually have other text as well. Say instead of having a phone icon, we could change it to an email icon or whatever icon you like. So if I search for envelope, we could do that and then put an email address in there instead if we wanted to do another effect there. Or we could just remove the whole icon list completely as well if you wanted to do that too. So you could just go to there and just delete it completely if you wish as well. So fully customizable, your header here. But what I really want to do now is our menu. So let's go to our menu there. So here Elementor has done quite a few upgrades in terms of its ability to do mega menus. So we have to enable some of those features so I can show them to you. So if we head over to our WordPress dashboard, Elementor settings, we're going to turn on a few new features here. So what I wanted to do is turn on nested elements. Let's set that one to active. And we want to turn on menu as well. So let's set that one to active as well. Later on in the video, I want to show you grid containers too. So I might turn that one on while I'm here. So turn all those ones on to active, save the changes there. And now we've got grid containers on, nested elements on, and menu is on. The other thing that should be on, just double check, Flexbox container is on as well. So once those are all set up, we're ready to go. Let's head back to our editor and let's reload the editor to make sure these settings come into effect here. Now you'll notice that we actually have two menu widgets now. We've got the traditional WordPress menu and we've got Elementor's new menu widget here. The disadvantages of the WordPress menu, the traditional one, which we are using right here, is you have to manage the menus through the menu screen in WordPress. So that is a little bit not as friendly as doing everything through Elementor. It's nice to keep it all seamless in the Elementor interface here. So if we go back, we can actually add in a Elementor menu rather than using a WordPress menu. So let's go ahead and do that. Drop one in there. And that is an Elementor menu. Let's remove the WordPress menu. Delete that one there. And let's go ahead and let's customize this one a bit. So let's click on the pencil. Start with aligning it to the right of the screen there so that looks better. And I'll want to style that one here. So let's click style, head to our typography there. And I want this to be a menu links style there. And the colors, again, let's use global colors here. I'm going to go with the white element. There we go. And when we hover, we notice it changes to black again. So we can actually customize that too. Let's go with a global color again for our color. And it's always nice to have some hover effect on our menu items here. So I might add a hover animation. So let's just add one called grow here. There's a few to choose from, but grow just makes it grow a little bit. It's a nice thing to just indicate that you're hovering on the menu. So that looks pretty good. Let's look at active here. Again, we want to change that color and that looks all good. Once you're happy with that, let's go ahead and look at the actual content of our menu here. So I've got 1, 2, 3 items here. Let's start customizing those. So click on the first one. I'm going to call this one home. So there we go. We're going to link that to our homepage. You can put any URL you want in there, or we can just type in one of our pages. It should detect our page. So we want the homepage there. There we go. Same with the next one. Let's go with about. Again, we'll link that to the about page. Start typing in there and it should detect our pages. And this one, I'll go for contact here. Awesome. And we can add more as we please as well. So let's add another item here. Item 4, let's have services. And let's search for that one too. There we go. Looks all good. So that's all you really need to know to create a basic menu here. We can actually do more advanced menus, which I'll show you in a second as well, but let's publish this one for now. We can look at how this is behaving in another tab here. If I reload that, we can see we've got our menu and it's working fairly nicely there. Takes us where we want to go. So that's a nice, easy menu. Let's actually do more of a mega menu by adding a drop-down content. So let's say if we want to add things under the services one, let's add drop-down content there. You'll see that adds a drop-down arrow. Now, if we actually click that drop-down arrow, we can see we've got a whole container to work with here where we can put any Elementor content we want in our mega menu. So you can put images, buttons, columns, rows, anything you want here, even an additional menu. So I'm going to add a WordPress menu into that section here. So let's grab a WordPress menu and drop that in. So at the moment, that's the WordPress main menu. We can edit that a bit later, but I'm going to edit the styling of this WordPress menu right now. So let's head to style. What I do want to do is change the typography. I'm going to change that to menu links, and I want that to be white color. So let's go and change it to white element. And I want the actual background. So let's check the container background. I'd like the style of that to be the, let's just change it to the primary color. That's more readable. And if we center all this, it's going to look better as well. So let's go here and let's change our content alignment to the center, and this one as well. I'm going to change that and make that centered. For this site kit, it's going to be easy to work with. And I can go ahead and publish this one. Now it's just a matter of editing the content in this WordPress menu. So let's go to the WordPress menu there and go to our menu screen. So at the moment, we're working with that main menu as the sub menu there. It's probably not a good way of doing it. I might actually create a new menu and call this call it the sub menu for services. And let's go ahead and create this one. Let's add a few pages to it, say the social media, the about, and the sample homepage. Let's add those on, and then we can save this. And if we head back to our Elementor editor here, we can select our WordPress menu there. And rather than using the main menu, we should be able to select our sub menu after we reload this. So let's reload this editor. We should be able to get back there. Head to our WordPress menu there. So rather than using that menu, we want to use that new one, submenu services, which appeared after we reloaded the Elementor editor. If we publish this, yeah, see, now we've got our new submenu under there. I just noticed that we've got about twice in there, so we could change that pretty easily. Let's just make a custom link, call it SEO, and then just link it to, if we had an SEO page, we could put that on there. For example, add that to the menu. Let's remove that about from the menu here. There we go. Save that in. So we can see how that is performing at the moment. If we load that up here, we can see we've got a menu here. We've got our grow effect as we mouse over, and the services will pop up that WordPress menu there. So that's how you build a mega menu in Elementor. So yeah, lots of things possible by adding containers inside the menu, but just remember that feature is in beta. If you're just starting out with Elementor, I'd probably recommend just using whatever menu system came with your site kit. You can have a quicker setup experience just using whatever came straight out of the box. But for those of us who are more experienced with Elementor, feel free to play around with these new beta features. And speaking of beta features, the thing I want to show you next was the CSS Grid container. This is a new way of creating containers in the Elementor page editor. So if you have activated the grid container feature, that's not usually active by default. You'd have to activate that one and save it in like we did earlier here. But if we go back to our page editor and go to create a new container, we'll be able to see this new option here. So if we add one here, we can add a container. And now we have the choice of a Flexbox or a CSS Grid. So let's talk briefly about Elementor's Flexbox containers versus Elementor's CSS Grid containers. So the grid containers are a newer feature to Elementor. Most of the time when you load up a site kit, you're going to see Flexbox containers in most of these site kits like we have here. Flexbox are good for 1D layouts. Grids are good for 2D layouts. What I mean by that is a typical Flexbox has a row with multiple columns. That's the best way to do that kind of layout. And if you have something more complicated with multiple rows and columns that you need to align them in relation to each other, a grid is going to be the more effective way of doing that. But the user experience in Elementor is still quite similar. Choosing a grid allows you to choose a structure. You just choose the structure that you want, and then you just start adding elements into each part of the grid. That's fairly straightforward. So have a go at that. But for me, I think the most productive way of working in Elementor is using their template library. You can grab something out of the template library already made. So hopefully they'll be adding some more grid-based layouts to this as they roll out this feature. Also, the thing I really like doing is when I've got a site kit like this one, where I have a layout that I quite like already, just go ahead and copy it. And we can go ahead, make a new container and just paste in the thing we copied. You can do that from multiple pages. So if you want something from the About page, paste it onto the Home page, for example, and then start customizing the layout to suit your new container. So that is, for me, the most productive way of working with Elementor. And you can be assured that these containers that came with the site kit have already been responsively designed really well. It's going to save me a lot of time and effort tweaking these to look good on all the devices as well. So that's the way I like to work on it. So it's cool to see, again, new features rolling out on Elementor in those beta abilities here. So play around with that if you are interested. One of the other more advanced features I'd like to look at today is Elementor's pop-up ability. So under templates, we actually have pop-ups. So the two easiest ways to get started with pop-ups are, if you have a site kit that already came with a pop-up, just use the one that comes with the site kit, like this one is here. We can edit that with Elementor and customize it. The other way is you can add a new template and you can choose one of the template pop-ups that comes with Elementor as well. So let's start with this one because it comes with the site kit already. This will be the most straightforward way of proceeding. So let's edit that one in Elementor. So the one that comes with our site kit is here. It has a really cool mouse hover effect here, and it already has a good style that matches the site kit already. So I like using the ones that come with the kit. All we have to do is customize the text, and the form itself is here. If we click the pencil icon, we can add fields. We can remove fields as we like here as well. We can rename them, and that's fairly straightforward. For example, you could remove the phone number requirement from the field by just clicking the X there. We could add something else instead here. Item number 3, fairly straightforward. Just click that one and just change. And then we can put a custom placeholder in here. So for example, country, and now it shows country in the placeholder field. We can add the label there as country as well. So that changes item 3 there to country. And this has been set up to use our new field. I don't really want country in there. That's just an example. Name and email is good for most of these sort of subscription type pop-ups. And changing the text is obviously as easy as changing any field in Elementor. Let's have a chat. Maybe let's get our free ebook. And there you go. So let's go ahead and publish that one. And when we hit publish, we'll get the ability to add conditions to when this pop-up will actually display. So what we want to do is we want to add a condition here, and we can have this on the entire site or just a single page, for example. We could choose the page we want, so pages, and we can have all pages or just say home page, and go ahead and choose that. We can add as many conditions as we want. So I only want this to pop up on the home page, and we're going to do that one and go next. And there's a few options for when we want that to actually activate. So when we page load, after a certain amount of time, after we scroll to a certain place. This one's quite good on exit intent. So when it detects that the user is about to leave the page, then it shows the pop-up. So I think this one is probably the most common on page load. And then you just wait a certain number of seconds. So say, for example, maybe 4 seconds is good. And we can display the pop-up after 4 seconds. So it gives the user a quick chance to have a look at the page before they get shown the pop-up. And then you can further customize it here. This is good if it shows on the whole site, show after X page views. Maybe after they've looked at 2 pages, they can see the pop-up if you're displaying it on all pages. So it doesn't pop up straight away. It waits till they've looked around a few different pages. But yeah, there's lots of different ways you can trigger this. And once you're happy with your settings, we can save and close. And if you ever want to get back to those settings, you can use that drop-down menu there and display the conditions. You can go ahead and edit those as we did previously. So that's how to get back to it if you want to do that. Now that we've actually published this, we can go over to our page and reload it to see the effect. So after it loads, we wait 4 seconds and we should get our pop-up. There we go. If we fill this out, we can show you, I'll show you how the actual submission works. So I'll put in a name and email. Let's go and send that. We should get a success message there. And then in our actual dashboard, if we head back to our WordPress dashboard under Elementor, we've got a section called submissions, and then our form submissions are going to end up landing in here. We can view those as we like here. And the other thing that happens is the website admin will get an email with the form data in there as well. So you get a notification in your email when someone fills in your form. So the other way of creating a form under templates and pop-ups, we can just create one from a template here. Choose pop-up here. Let's just call it new, create a template there. And they've got a few nice pre-built ones you can work with here. I think that's the one we were just using. Let's go with this one, for example, and you can just add that in. You can customize that the same way that would customize anything in Elementor. This one's a bit more simple because it's just an email address, which I quite like. So go ahead and set up a pop-up using this method. And of course, you could have multiple pop-ups as well and have different triggers. Maybe you'd have a page for a sales pop-up, a page for a subscription pop-up. All that's possible using different triggers. But there are plenty of occasions where you don't actually want to use a pop-up. You'd rather just have the form in the actual page itself. That's quite easy to do as well. Just create a new container here, choose a template here, and we actually have lots of contact forms already in our library. So lots of things we can choose from here. This is a nice simple one. So let's just insert that in there. And customizing this form is exactly the same as customizing the fields in the pop-up that we just made. So hit the pencil there. You've got your fields there that we can add and remove as we like. And that will get sent through to the submission section and our email as we saw with our pop-up. The only difference here is that the form is embedded onto the page rather than popping up at the user from a pop-up window. And probably the final thing we need to cover when working with these Elementor site kits is pages versus posts. So let's head to our Elementor dashboard here under posts. We can see we've got some posts included with our site kit. Let's view one of these posts. A WordPress post is a simple, quick way of adding content to your site. They are a template that consists of a title, a featured image, some metadata such as the author and the date, and then you've got your content in here. So I'll show you how you actually do this. All we do is under our dashboard, under posts, we add a new post. The essential things to do is add some content, add a title here, and add a featured image. Let's grab that AI generated image that we worked on earlier there, set that up, and then we hit publish. We can view that post here, and we can see very quickly we've got our title, our metadata, our image, and our content here. So this is achieved by using an Elementor template. We can get there by going to dashboard and going to our templates here, and we can go to our theme builder, that one there. The template that controls the look of our post is this one called single post. So all we have to do is check out this one here. We can see that this resembles our blog posts, and we can customize that in here. So this is going to let us customize all of our posts. So for example, if we didn't want the metadata on here or we wanted to change the size of the title, we could do it in here, and that will change this on all of our posts on the whole website. For example, let's delete this metadata from our posts. And what else can we do here? There's a few things that appear below the post, such as the subscription form, post navigation, and our post grid here. I think these are quite good to have. We might not want a form at the end of every post, so let's get rid of that as well. Tidy it up a little bit. And we've got this info here as well at the bottom of every post. I don't think I'd want that at the bottom of all my posts. And we've got our regular footer here and the normal header there. So I'm going to leave it as this. Let's go ahead and publish it. And now when we reload one of our posts, we can see those changes have been applied to all of our WordPress posts. The meta is gone here and the bottom area of our post has been tidied up like we just did in our post theme editor there. So that's the basics of editing the post template in Elementor. So that's a really powerful way of generating content on your WordPress site. If you just want to do a title, one image, and content, you really have a very quick way of doing that with WordPress posts compared to pages. Pages are good for your main core content of your site, the home page, the about page, the contact page, things that you want a bit more of a more artistic, fancier layout, but you don't need to edit this too often. So that's the distinction of pages versus posts and why you would use one or the other. So now we've covered the main aspects of customizing this site kit. Let's head back to our dashboard and let's set this site to live. So first thing we can do in our dashboard here is change our site lock setting here. So click that one there. Site lock is there. We can just turn that off, unlock the site, and now we can actually view the site as a public user would see it. So if I open an incognito window now, paste in our Elementor address here, we can see our completed site that's ready to go. I quite like these pop-ups that we created here. This is pretty cool. And we've got our AI generated images and text as we did earlier, along with our mega menu. So all these features are pretty interesting. Besides that, I think what you'd want to do from here is put a custom domain on here. If you want to do that, I've covered that in my previous tutorial. Also adding a custom email account to match your custom domain. Again, that's the same video, so that'll be up in the corner and in the description. The other key feature in the dashboard is your backups here. As we can see, it does automatic backups, and you can do manual backups as well. And that's a really nice thing that comes included with your Elementor subscription. Now, before I wrap this up, I wanted to cover a few more of Elementor Hosting's more advanced features, just so you're aware. So all of our hosting is actually running on Google Cloud's own server. So these are quite high performance servers that are included in your hosting package, which is really nice. Very high security, including DDoS protection and web application firewall. I've done a video about these topics before. If you're interested, I'll put one link in the description that explains these concepts. You got 24-hour monitoring included by Elementor as well. I did cover backups early in the video. Those are included. And WordPress optimization, caching, and CDN. These are more developer level features, but when you use Elementor hosting, all of this is configured by default. That's a good advantage of having Elementor specific hosting. It's already optimized for Elementor. And of course, we have Elementor Pro included in your package. So there is an Elementor free version that you can run anywhere, but if you use Elementor hosting, you get the Pro version included in the price, which makes it quite enticing value. So overall, in conclusion, I think this is an excellent value package. You do get a lot of advanced features with Elementor Pro, and bundling it into the hosting makes the actual price value proposition quite enticing. Overall, Elementor Pro, in terms of its visual-based editing system, is probably the most advanced, mature package out there at the moment. So again, if you want to check it out, I've got that link in the description. If you want a more detailed video where I go through some of the more detailed points of building an Elementor page, I'll put another video up on the end screen as well if you want to check that one out too. But thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.